There we go. Now we're connected. Good. There we are. Very good. Very good. Hello. And here we are. All right. Well, it's Monday. And Kickstart Kitchen, here we go. So let's see what we're going to do today. So welcome to the Kickstart Kitchen. We're going to have some fun. It's noon Central Time, and I'm going to start. It's time for me to have my Stronghold. And Stronghold is a awesome supplement that I take and I use on a daily basis. It's Stronghold. It has creatine, lysine, and HMB for lean muscle. And I'm 73 and I'm gaining lean muscle. I'm up to 30% lean muscle mass at 73. I'm not supposed to be gaining weight. I'm not supposed to be gaining muscle, but that's what I'm doing. And in not too many weeks, I'm going to actually be 74. So much the better, right? Cool. All right. Now, so we're today in the Kickstart Kitchen. What we're going to be doing is, while I'm working on menus to get us going here later, is what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a chili. Now it started today. I think it was in its upper 30s. It's going to get into the 60s, so that's great weather, nice fall weather. But what we're going to do is today we're going to be making some chili. And like I've always told you, and the clock's ringing, it's noon. What I always tell you is that recipes are suggestions. And so I'm going to put this together in a chili that I kind of like to make. And, if you have some suggestions and foods or things that you'd like to see, let me know. By the way, looking forward to Wednesday, I'm going to do kind of an antipasto. I've got some porcino and some of those types of things. I've got some cool cheeses. I have some really cool nuts and things like that we're going to make a little spread, kind of things like that. But you've seen already that I've done what? We've done some coquille Saint-Jacques. We've done hollandaise sauce. We've done a lemon blanc sauce. So we can do those types of things here in the kitchen, and they're like the chicha, so they're nice and smooth and simple. But recipes are suggestions. It's how we get to play with our food. So, if you like to do that kind of thing, perfect. Come along and play with me because this is what we like to do. One of the reasons I'm trying to work and teach you this is because I have been known as Mr. Belly So Big. I've also been known as maple syrup. Why? Because I have played and been a yo-yo dieter. Have any of you been a yo-yo dieter at all? Yeah, I became a professional yo-yo dieter, and I created a game that I call Diet Whack-A-Mole. There's so many diets that come up, and it came up, here's a diet, boom, here's a diet, boom, here's a diet, boom. I played Diet Whack-A-Mole, and I ate myself in and out of so many different things. I have been fat, sick, and nearly dead, and the reason I'm here is only through the grace of God. Because a year ago, in October, my fasting blood glucose, well, let's put it this way. I should have been in a coma. I should have had a heart attack. I should have had a stroke. I should have had kidney and organ failure. My fasting blood glucose was 834. Yeah, fasting. On a 20-hour fast, I was 834. And my A1C was 18.1. But in 107 days on this protocol, the simple natural protocol, I'll talk about it later, I was able to reverse that until my fasting blood glucose came down to 90. No medication, no crazy diets, no counting carbs, no counting calories, no only this, none of that. In the modern day food environment, with a natural protocol, with a little bit of help, with God's grace, I was able to go from 834, which is an emergency critical 8 is necessary. Look it up, 834. 290. And so that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about, I'm going to be doing some cooking. I'll show you what we're doing in this chili. And I like making chili a lot. And so I'm going to make it. You can make it with beans, not with beans. You can make it totally vegan, not vegan. You can use meat, not meat. You can use beans, no beans. You can do what you will. It's your food. It's your diet. But we're going to talk about some basic principles, how you can improve it to match your schedule, to match what you're doing. I'm using a slow cooker, crock pot, whatever you call them. You have names. It's like some places they say you wash, right? Some people have a washing machine, a washing machine. You do laundry. You have dinner, supper. Your meals are different. The words, you may have a grocery cart. You may have a buggy. You have other words for them, right? So I'm going to use the words I use here in the Midwest. And so this is what we're going to talk about. But I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to be Mr. Belly so big. I don't want you to be Mr. Belly so big. I don't want you to be called maple syrup because your blood is so sugary, so thick, like mine was, with an A1C of 18.1. Yeah, that's where I got the name maple syrup. And I'm alive, thank God, to help spread the mission, help teach you to see what you could do to not go down this path. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to give you a lot of free information, going to give you a lot of tips and tricks that you can do starting today to improve your health, to improve your well-being, to improve your family's health, things you can incorporate for free that will make you feel better, look better, be better tomorrow, next month, and ongoingly. So we're going to talk about those things. But I want to tell you that in a few weeks in Miami, there is an incredible conference going on. Our conference is going on. And we're going to have Dr. Jamie Seaman's going to be there. She's the host and author of Fit and Fabulous. She's going to be one of the speakers that we have, along with Dr. Carlos. And he is the author of The Metabolic Miracle. Oh, Dr. Nick's going to be there, an expert in certified CrossFit trainer, and he's an allopath. And Cynthia Thurlow. Oh my goodness, what is she? She's an author of Intermittent Fasting Transformation. And Dr. Ben Bickman's going to be there too. Doctor is a great friend. Dr. Ben Bickman is the author of Why We Get Sick, and he is the leading metabolic researcher in the world. He has to be based out of BYU. Dr. Jason Fung is going to be there, author of the Diabetes Code and author of the Obesity Code. Very fitting for this time, right? Because 93% of Americans, 93% of the world is suffering from metabolic issues. And how many people have you seen in the last 2 days that are obese, that are overweight, that are having struggles with their weight, with their shape, with their blood sugar, with their eye fog, blurry vision, brain fog, skin tags, PCOS, non-alcoholic fatty liver? This guy's going to be there. And Nina Tico, she's a PhD, the big fat surprise. They are all going to be there. Nina and Dr. Jason Fung, Ben Bickman, Cynthia Thurlow, Dr. Nick, Dr. Carlos, and Jamie are all going to be in Orlando. We were just in Miami a month ago, so that's why I'm getting confused. In Orlando for 1 day. If you like tickets November 8th, put that in the chat and I'll get you the link for the tickets. Or you may gift somebody. If you know somebody that needs this kind of information or is into fitness or into training, into healthcare, naturopathic, want to learn how to be better, how to treat others, put tickets in the chat and I'll make sure I get that link for you. So you can come with us. And by the way, our company is such a great company. They're actually giving us a 4-day cruise after. I get to celebrate my 74th birthday on a cruise ship with 1,000 of my best friends. Some I haven't met yet, but they're going to be my best friends. The company has bought the entire 4-day cruise ship out just for us. And these guys are going to be on this cruise ship with us. If you'd like to find out how possibly you could make this trip with us, put cruise in the chat and I'll see what we can do to possibly get you on. Wouldn't that be cool? I'd love to have that. But come celebrate my birthday in November. Right here with Dr. Seaman, Dr. Carlos, Dr. Nick, Dr. Thurlow, Dr. Beckman, Dr. Jason Funk, and Dr. Tickholtz. Come along with us. And don't become Mr. Belly So Big, Mr. Maple Syrup. Be this guy over here. That's me at 73, having lost 14 inches on my waist down to a 28-inch pant at 73, soon to be 74. So let's get into talking and cooking here, okay? Let's talk into that. I'll get into some of the hints and things that we can do to help get better. But I just right now, I just want to let you know, in this pot, I'm just straining through. Now, when I make chili, I don't know how you make your chili, but I like my chili social. You can always make it hotter on an individual basis. I like to make it social. I like to make it nice, so there's nuances. I like to use lots of different ingredients. But right now, what I'm doing here, I'll pull this over. Right to here. There you go. Can you see that now? Yeah, there we go. Is I'm sieving and straining. I got to turn you guys over here. Hang on. I got to do this. There we go. That's better. Okay, cool. So I'm sieving. This is some chipotle chilies in an adobo sauce. And I'm not going to take these. If you're a hot person, then you just dump this whole thing in. These are chipotle peppers that are in an adobo sauce. But I just want the flavoring. So that's why this looks like this. Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of those. Now, if you've never cooked with real chilies, especially you start dealing around with chilies, if you've never dealt with peppers, other than bell peppers, some of you might want to put on some gloves. Okay, and I don't mean cloth gloves, the paint kind of gloves, the ones I'm talking about. All right, the nitrile and the neoprene type. Because, well, here's the story. I was the first time I was introduced to chilies, they tried to trick me. I was in California and I was at the home. I got invited to the home of a very, very famous chef, a very large chef. You can narrow that down to like 3 or 4 people, right? And they brought me into this beautiful house. It was a fun meeting. I was in another industry. And the spread was incredible. And they had these little, really pretty looking, almost pumpkin things. And they were, here, George, take a bite of one of these. Now, I wasn't born yesterday. And when people start saying, here, take a bite, have it. And I look at faces and they all got that kind of grinny smile thing. You know something's up, don't you? Because I'm not just totally stupid. And I go, no, what is it? Oh, it's a Scotch Bonnet. A what? Well, it's just a Scotch Bonnet. I'm looking at this thing and it's small. And I don't see anybody else eating on one. I don't see anybody else noshing on one. And I go, well, what is this? Well, it's a pepper. I go, what? Wait, it's a what? It's a pepper. Oh, what kind of pepper? Well, it's a Scotch Bonnet. I go, no, I'm not going to take a bite of it. And they go, just put it up to your lip. Now I'm really cautious, right? Because they just put it up to your lip, just touch your. Now you know there's something up, right? So eventually, I just put up my, and boy, did that just start to burn and blister. And of course, then they all laughed because I knew they were going to do it anyway, right? Well, one of the things is that he told me his story because he was a world famous chef and he'd living in New York and had just moved out to California. And this was in the San Diego area. And he said, George, I'd never cooked with peppers before. And so I wanted to learn how. So he said, I was cooking with peppers and, I'm just chopping and cutting and chopping and cutting and like I normally do with anything else. And I had to go to the bathroom. So he said, I went to the bathroom and I, got my tallywhacker out. And he said he never had experienced such a burn ever. And he was trying to cool it off by putting it up his leg and arm up on the bathroom counter to get his member underneath the sink. If you can imagine, this guy is 300 pounds easy trying to do that, if you can imagine. And he said, George, people were coming into the kitchen before that and they stopped. They couldn't enter the kitchen space. Well, it comes to find out that because the peppers, when they were cooking and how he was cooking them, was pushing out all that gas, it burned people's eyes and their inhalation, their soft tissues when they're breathing in. He didn't even realize it. So here's the lessons on if you're dealing with peppers. One, be aware that peppers can really burn. The oil on your skin, you have to clean with alcohol. Water just spreads it. That's why if you ever eat spicy food and you grab water or beer or wine, coffee or tea to try to soften the blow, all it does is spread it. All it does is spread that capsaicin around. It just spreads it. It just spreads it wider. So don't do that. If you have to do it and your tongue and mouth, go for milk, butter, cream, sour cream, dairy. Something to coat it. Get some dairy in there. On your hands, wear gloves. Protect it, and or have alcohol to clean your hands and all the utensils. Don't use plastic. Use metal. So that's your lesson today, class, on dealing with what? I'm dealing with peppers. Now, in this frying pan right now, I'm starting my first meat that's going to go in the chili. I'm starting the first meat that's going to go in the chili. And what is this meat that I'm cooking? This happens to be a pork chorizo. I love chorizo. Now you can probably get some. You may be able to get some in your local Mexican store, Hispanic store. You may find it in trays in some stores. Some brands like Kroger, I know, have their own. Johnsonville has some, and there's some other brands. Adaptable has a brand, has a type as well. It's really, really good. I like theirs. Adaptable, I guess that's what it's called. But chorizo is a great seasoned Hispanic meat. Remember earlier in the series, I think week one, we did stuffed peppers with chorizo. I love chorizo. And this happens to be pork chorizo. Now, the reason I'm cooking it first is because I want any seasonings and oils that are going to be left over in here to be able to go to the next meat. Because we're going to use 3 meats in this chili. So in this chili, I've already put in, I like using fire roasted tomatoes. So I have some fire roasted tomatoes. And let me look at the ingredients. Unpeeled diced tomatoes, tomato juice, salt, citric acid, chloride. No sugar, no oils. Okay? So we have a couple cans of those in here. I've got some black beans, 1 can of black beans just because I wanted some. And in this can of black beans, there's black beans and water. This is some salsa. This is a fire roasted. I like using the fire roasted stuff, by the way. This is a fire roasted salsa style, just to have another flavor. Fire roasted tomatoes, tomato puree, diced jalapenos, diced anaheim, sea salt, dehydrated onion, citric acid, acetic acid, dehydrated garlic, and calcium chloride. No sugar. Okay? Let's see. And this came out of Aldi's. This one, tomatoes with juice, pepper, chopped chilies, green chilies, calcium chloride, spice, natural flavor. No sugar. Okay? This one is a cilantro one. And it's tomatoes, green chilies, lime juice, cilantro, dried onion, granulated garlic, citric acid, no sugar. This one is tomatoes, water, chopped green chilies, chili pepper, salt, dried oregano, cumin, red pepper, calcium carbonate, natural flavor, cilantro. This is the Chipotles. Now, they're hard to find that are sugar-free. I'm just telling you that they're really, really hard. And this one has 1 gram of sugar. All the others had 2 to 4. This is the lowest one I could find. This Embassy, Chipotle, and then the adobo sauce. Okay? So that's kind of what's already in here. Now, in here, I'm cooking up. You can see this is the chorizo, and you see it's pretty lean. It's pretty lean. So there's not going to be a lot of oil in here. Okay? So I'm just going to put this here to the side. Get out my little scooper. Any oil that's in here, there's really not. That's why this is such a nice chorizo. So we're going to pull this out. Pull it out. Right there. Let's go to the next group. Oopsie. The next is going to be, let's go to regular pork. So we had chorizo. Now we're going to go to a pork sausage. And this one, hang on here, let's quickly get it going in the pan. All right. A lot of times I use bison if I can find it. I couldn't find any here locally today, so we're not having bison in this chili. Bison is great because that's a nice lean meat, but we are going to do lamb. So let me get this in here, get it started. Okay. And so some of you people I know are turkey people. I don't like it. To me, it's like styrofoam, but if you like turkey, that's your thing, then have turkey. You like chicken, ground duck, I mean, whatever. Use again, recipes or suggestions. And this doesn't have any sugar in it either. It's pork and in order salt, spices. The one thing that it does have, unfortunately, is MSG, monosodium glutamate. But that's the best I could do, so we're going to do it. So we're going to get it cooking in here. All right. Now, I already have some tomatoes I chopped up. These are right out of the garden. So they're going in. Chili is such a good, fun thing to make. I just like making it kind of social so that everybody can enjoy it. When you serve it, you can do all the other kinds of things. You can have all the side pushes that you like. You can have, I don't put onions in mine, but you can have onions in a bowl. People put onions in there. You can put cheeses and sour creams and peanut butter. I like usually having a couple days into having chili. A lot of times I'll make it a little Moroccan-ish, and I'll add peanut butter instead of sour cream to cream it up. So yeah, I mean, it's just why not? So while we've got that going, there's a little bit of extra. Okay. For seasonings on here, while this is seasoning up, I'm going to put in some ancho chili. Some ancho chili. Some Mesa Rosa chipotle chili. We're going to add some cayenne. We're going to add some chili powder, which is a combination. All the things I already put in are chili pepper, spices, salt, and garlic powder. So there's that. Some chili powder. Some smoked paprika. When you season things, I like just making things of nuance. Turmeric. And smoked chili salt. Okay. Give this quick little stir here. Go back, check our pork. And the great thing about chili is that it always ages. It always gets better, doesn't it? Gets better with time. Well, I got to tell you, the asparagus with that hollandaise sauce I made Friday when you guys were here went so well with the grilled roasted asparagus, and that lemon beurre blanc sauce we did on Monday was perfect. I still have some more left, and that went great with the Chilean sea bass. Oh my gosh, that was so good. Did that in a nice roast with a butter and some fresh tarragon, along with that lemon beurre blanc. Oh my goodness gracious, guys, that is so good. So if you have any suggestions and things that you would like me to cook for you and play with, let me know. I love to cook. Wednesday, like I say, Wednesday's going to be kind of an interesting day. We've got leftovers from the other shows, so we've got some meats. We have some salamis, we've got some portocino, we've got some things like that. And so we're going to simply make an antipasto. I found some real good prices on some things like some dates, on some really cool nuts. Oh my gosh. you guys are going to love this. The suggestion I give you on Wednesday for some nuts that you can get at Aldi's. A lot of you have Aldi's, and I just heard that they're on Wednesday. They're going to start putting Christmas stuff out there. Sorry, I have issues with that, but whatever. So Wednesday, if you didn't know, and you're a huge Christmas freak for decorations and things, Aldi's already going to start having their walk of shame. You know, I'm talking about the walk of shame. In the walk of shame, they're already going to start having Christmas stuff on Wednesday. That's when the new releases come out. I'm sure they'll have their coffees and wines and chocolates and cheeses, gift packs from around the world, beers from around the world. You have all kinds of, they're so clever at the things that they do. Aldi's is really great at marketing. So this is lamb, and all that's in here on the lamb is lamb. No antibiotics, no added hormones, vegetarian feed, and this is from Australia. And you know I love lamb, so there's that going in there. So now we've got 2 pounds of meat in here. And we're going to have some more meat when we get the lamb in here. Now, here we go. Oh, yeah. This is good. I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Okay. So, yeah, that's my stronghold. That's the creatine. That is the leucine. That's HMB. For building lean muscle. All right. I love lamb. I'm going to salt lamb, though. Lamb can take a lot of salt. So I'm going to season it before it gets in there. There we go. All right. When you're working on eating and losing weight, because most people nowadays are trying to lose weight. Now, some of us aren't. I'm trying to what? Gain weight. Because I was down to 143 pounds. I actually suffered from what's called sarcopenia, which is muscle wasting. I got down to 143 pounds. On this protocol, I gained 9 pounds, and it's lean muscle. Most of you, a lot of you are trying to lose weight. I don't need to lose weight. I'm working to gain weight. But I don't want to gain weight. I want to gain what? Lean muscle. Lean muscle. That's what's important. And so I'm able to do that, not counting calories, not watching this, and not watching that, but on this natural protocol. Now, Cheryl's turns 80 here in November, and she's using this protocol, and not to lose weight. She's 94 pounds. Her blood work is immaculate. But what is interesting for her is that 9 years ago, she had a total hysterectomy as a preventative measure, and her blood, or her paths before that, had been not satisfactory. Well, she went ahead and had the total hysterectomy, hoping that would fix that. It didn't, and she since then has had irregular paps. Every 6 months, she has to go back twice. Gets them done, and then has to go back, check again, then check every 6 months. Well, on the same protocol that I'm on, she's on, and in 90 days, had her first good pap smear in 9 years. Just saying. Just saying. So this protocol fixes and helps a lot of things you don't even know. So a lot of people think it's about weight loss. And yes, people on this protocol, if you need to lose weight and your body knows it, it will. It can. In fact, the company guarantees you results in 90 days or your money back. What kind of results? Well, we're looking first and foremost at your insulin level, your insulin resistance level. And insulin resistance, guys, we'll talk about in a minute, is really the underlying issue for most of your problems. Now, some of you also have gut biome. Your gut is not good, right? You may have irritable bowel syndrome. You may have constipation. You may have anxiety, depression, mood swings. Yeah, you may have all kinds of infections, ladies. You may have yeast infections, candida. You may have type 2 diabetes. You may be called pre-diabetic. There's so many different things that are going on, guys, in the world, inside of your world. And a lot of them are related to one or two things. They're metabolic dysfunction. A metabolic dysfunction, which is the combination of insulin resistance and gut biome issues. Dysbiosis is the term. All right, so we're going to put this in here. There's our lamb. And now, after I get the lamb in here, now I've got a lot of fat in here. Now I've got some oil, and I'm not putting that in. Let's go around that oil. The next thing we're going to work on in this chili, the next thing we're going to put in here is peppers. We're going to put in some bell peppers. And see, I've got these cut already, and I'm just going to chop one up just to show you one thing about it. Oopsie. One thing when you're using a knife, I just want to talk about knives a little bit again, of course, is always have a sharp knife. 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 Sharpen it up before you put it away, and then sharpen up just really before you use it. Now, when like in this pepper, this bell pepper, one of the things you can do in prepping them is you could go through the skin this way, but that's harder. Now you're cutting through that. When you're going to cut a bell pepper, for example, and slice it, put the skin side down and slice in the meat. Look how nice and easy this goes through. Okay? And then it goes and chops so much smoother. So when you do a product that has a skin and you want better slices, slice through the meat with the skin down to the hard surface. So those guys are in here. Those are peppers. Just adding some color. We already have red in there, so I thought it'd be cool to have orange and yellow. And then the next thing we're going to put in is we're going to cook up some mushrooms. Now, remember, the secret about doing mushrooms is when you buy mushrooms and you bring them home, take them out of the storage containers, and they're always plastic, almost, aren't they? Almost always plastic. Take them out of that right away and put them in a paper bag and put it in the fridge. They will last so much longer. So there's my lesson for y'all with mushrooms. Now these mushrooms I've rinsed off, and we're just going to take them and we're going to put them in and do them up with the chili too. And they don't have to be all really diced up, just a couple like chunkies like this. So I'm going to take off the bottom. Now mushrooms are great because of the fiber that they provide for you. So good chunks are fine. I don't want this chili to become just mush. I like it to be character. Now some of you would like to add celery. I get that. Some of you would add onion. I get that. Some of you will add, gosh, what else did you add? Oh, by the way, did I tell you that I put cinnamon in here too? So I'm going to get these softened up, these mushrooms. These are portobello, so they have a nice texture. Get them up right there. Chop them down. Now come in January, I'll be raising some lion's mane mushrooms. I love raising mushrooms, growing mushrooms. So I'll be growing some and cooking with them. One of the favorite dishes for lion's manes, for me, one of my favorite is remember that coquille Saint Jacques, the scalp recipe we did? I do that with lion's mane. And that adds a whole nother beautiful layer to the flavor because lion's mane, as you know, is kind of has a lobster seafood flavor to it. I love lion's mane. And they're so good for you, for your mental health, for your brain. The ingredients, the compounds that make up what are lion's manes are phenomenal. So I love cooking with them. I love growing them. They're kind of cool. And so we'll be growing those for sure. Maybe we'll grow some oyster mushrooms, some colorful ones. We've grown so many different mushrooms over the years. So come January, maybe we'll get some other diversities, okay? But I love cooking with mushrooms. And so we'll start incorporating them too. So if there's something you guys would like to see me cook or make or have questions about, let me know. I mean, I'm just a guy. I'm a 73-year-old grandpa. Got 15 grandkids. And I'm passionate about metabolic health. I'm passionate about us getting well. Because food got us into this mess, food will get us out. And that's the problem that I have. A year ago, was in the food environment insanely bad. I ate myself into nearly a death. I should have been in a coma. I should have had a stroke. I should. I'm lucky to be alive. Why? Because my fasting blood glucose in October last year, fasting, by the way, 20-hour fast, my fasting blood glucose was 834. Look that up. You'll see that is qualified as a medical emergency. I should have been in the ER. They should have been shooting me up with insulin and God knows what else because my blood sugar is that high. My A1C, which is a measure of how badly or how well you're controlling your blood sugar, was 18.1. That is, what does that mean? That means my blood cells, my red blood cells, were basically 18% bumped up and coated and toxic and resting out with sugar. Sugar in the body is incredibly, incredibly corrosive. In fact, if an EMT were to inject glucose into you because you're having an issue, let's say you're a diabetic and they pick you up and you're unconscious, and your vein broke, or if they miss and inject some just right into your blood or into your tissue, it'll necrophilize. It will kill immediately everything it touches. Blood sugar, glucose, is incredibly corrosive. Oh, this is looking good. It's so easy to cook with mushrooms because and when you cook with mushrooms, guys, in the future, if you're ever going to cook with mushrooms, cook them in a dry pan. Cook them in a dry pan. Don't put butter in. Don't put in olive oil or avocado oil or any kind of oil to start, because let them sweat. Let them sweat and reduce first. Then you can add your oil. Then you can add your seasonings. Okay? All right. So this is looking good. All right. So now we've got this guy's kind of reduced down a little bit. So let's take and put our, see, I'm not trying to add oil to this at all. But now you can see how pretty, oh, I'll show them to you in a minute. But now we've got colorful ingredients in this chili. And we have multiple textures. We have multiple meat flavors. We have lots of nuances then. This one here. Pull this side out. Perfect. Perfect. I love it. I love it. So let's just see what we look like. Oh yeah, how pretty. All right. Let me just pull this up right here. Can you see that? Look how pretty that is. Look at the colors in there. So that's the start of our chili. And I know I'll be enjoying this. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. Very, very pretty. Okay. Can we pull this back up? So let's talk a smidge about what we've done then. So we've added our 3 meats. What 3 meats did we have? We added chorizo, pork chorizo, a pork sausage, and lamb. No sugars there. Then we had garden tomatoes, portobellos, bell pepper, yellow and red, or yellow and orange, and then some black beans, no sugar, just black beans, just 1 can. You know, you can add anything you like. If you like turkey, put turkey in. If you like celery, celery. Everybody does their chilies differently, and I do mine differently. I use fire roasted tomatoes. Okay, no sugar in there. The only sugar that came was from the chipotle in the adobo sauce. That's where we got any sugar. And let's see here. So here we go. So see it all. What we want to talk about is the fact that why I'm doing this and doing this meal prep is because I was Mr. Belly So Big. I was maple syrup. I don't want you to go down this path. I should be dead. If my blood sugar is 834, I know people that have been at 600 and died, much less 800. Anybody that's been even higher than me has been in comas. Below me have been in comas. Kidney failure. I've seen foot wounds. Blindness. It's not funny. This is a list of 68 symptoms that are possible. I have 58 of them. The ones I don't have were like menstrual cycles. I'm not a girl. PCOS. Guys, we get ED. And unfortunately, a lot of you as young as 30s, 40s, right? Let's be real. Be honest. It's because of what you're eating. And when we talk about eating, guys, the reason is we're eating too often. We aren't designed. Go back and look at history. If you were born in 1970 or later, I had 300 symptoms. I've had enough of them. I really did. I had 58 of 68. Well, let's look here. I just said this would be some fun. Let's just look at the symptoms. Did you have? Let's go through here. Let's look first off let's look at neurological and cognitive. Brain fog, anybody? Difficulty concentrating, memory loss, mood swings, irritability, anxiety, depression, headaches, dizziness, and poor sleep quality? I had them all but headaches. I noticed some of you have migraines. When I was a teenager on my birthday, I wished my 2 headaches on the Chinese. Serious. Oddball thing. I know it's weird. I've not had a headache since I was 16. None. I'm blessed that way. Shall we go to the metabolic and digestive? Let's just look down this list. Craving for sugar and carbs. Anybody? How about constant hunger, fatigue after eating? You eat, you want to take a nap, bloating, slow digestion, constipation, increased appetite, feeling tired despite eating, weight gain despite eating normally, difficulty losing weight. Anybody? Yeah, I had 10 of those. How about this? Cardiovascular and blood markers. High blood pressure, elevated triglycerides, low HDL, high LDL, elevated fasting blood glucose, elevated insulin, high hemoglobin A1C, increased heart rate, poor circulation, cold hands and feet. Anybody? Bueller? Yep, I had all those. How about physical appearance and skin? Abdominal belly fat, skin tags, dark patches. I did not have those. Puffy face, yeah, looked like a pumpkin head. Swollen ankles, oily skin, acne, hair thinning. Ladies having facial hair. I don't have that. I'm not a lady. And fatty liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver. Anybody? Yeah, me too. How about this? How about we go to urinary hydration? Frequent urination, every 2 hours I was. Increased thirst, dehydration, dry mouth, and nocturnia. That's when you wake up at night and go to the bathroom and they just say it's old age. Poppycock. This is all telling you this. How about hormonal and reproduction? Irregular menstrual cycles. Of course, I didn't have that. Polycystic ovary, didn't have that either. But 20% of you do. 20% of you have that. Low testosterone for men. Infertility and erectile dysfunction. Okay. What else is there on the list? Well, how about let's look at type 2 diabetes. Yeah. Type 3 diabetes. No, by the way, that's Alzheimer's. Inflammation, autoimmune. You know there's 100 autoimmune diseases, and most of them come from the gut. Yeah, exactly. Pre-diabetes, any itises, gout, sarcopenia, food addictions, blurry vision, neuropathy, IBS, gut biosis, psoriasis, retinopathy, Hashimoto's, acid reflux, and overeating. Yeah. 68, I had 58 of them. Not something to be proud of. Not something to be proud of. But how did we get there? Because I was eating just like you. How many of you have been told to eat 3 meals a day and then snack every 2 hours? Yeah. That's the problem. When you do that, as quick as you start to eat, you stop burning fat. Now, how many of you want to burn fat? Right? Type 4 diabetes, you know they did not have type 5? They just recognized type 5 diabetes. Found normally in low-income world countries. People that have been chronically undernourished have now developed what's called, kind of in the U.S., we have TOFI, thin on the outside, fat on the inside. There's type 5 diabetes. I just read the study on that, but it's internationally recognized now. But if you want to lose weight, you want to lose fat, you cannot do it and eat. There's two systems. You have two energy systems. One is sugar, and the other is fat. And you can't burn the same at the same time. You can't burn at the same time, one or the other. And it takes about 2 to 4 hours, depending on what you eat and how much you eat, before you get the glucose burnt off or shipped and stored enough away to allow for fat burning to start. Think about that. Because some of you get up in the morning and you grab something and then you go work out. And you think you're burning fat. You can't burn fat if there's glucose, blood sugar in the system. You have to get that out of the way to be able to turn on fat burning. That is the mathematical, physiological, biochemical process. You can't think it away. You can't wish it away. That's how it works. So you grab that protein drink, you grab some pre-workout drink, right? You swallow it, eat it, whatever. And then you go and you work on the treadmill for an hour, 2 hours, whatever. Guess what? It doesn't work that way. You're not burning fat. You're not burning fat. You can't burn fat while there's sugar in your blood. So if you're going to eat in the eating zones. Eat in what I call score in the eating zone. This football season, American football season, college football season, go Hawks. We Penn State, whatever, guys. But you're going to score by getting the ball between goalposts, right? Score between the goalposts. Eat twice a day. Our ancestors ate once a day, maybe twice, and probably sometimes not for a couple more days because there wasn't any food. You got food 5 minutes from your house. You got food right behind you in the fridge and the pantry. You ain't going to starve. That's not the issue. And so just because it's convenient doesn't mean you should eat constantly. So score, eat in between the zones. If you're going to snack, eat in the eating zone. Because if you eat and you have carbs first, it spikes. It goes in fast, it's going to crash. But when it goes up like that, guess what? The pancreas has to push insulin up to push it back down. That's its job. Insulin is there to do that job. We could talk another day. We'll talk about resistant starches. There's a lot of things that you can learn. But take this home with you today because I'm going to wrap up here in about a minute. We've just talked about fasting. When you were asleep, you didn't eat, or did you? No, you were asleep. So you were what I call sleep fast. I sleep fast, literally. I want you, when you know that when you sleep, you're fasting. When you're sleeping, you are fasting. You're not eating. If you can, what you can do, push that first bite, that first drink towards midday, guess what? You get to keep burning fat longer. And then when you start to eat inside the window, eat inside your goalpost, eat in the scoring zone. Because then when you do eat, the next thing is, so you are fasting, the order of food is fiber, fat, protein, carbs last. Carbs way over here. Fiber because it helps fill you, but more importantly, if it's the soluble fiber helps coat the lining, slows down the absorption, slows down the absorption of the glucose in your system, which then lowers the amount of insulin that has to go into your system. Okay. And the soluble fiber or the insoluble fiber, that's the fiber that's like a broom that keeps things moving. That's, I call it gluten pooping. But more importantly, it feeds your gut the good bacteria. You got a war going on. If you have IBS, you have Crohn's, you have irritable bowel syndrome, right? You have leaky gut. You have not fed your good bacteria what they need in order to beat the bad bacteria. Mood swings, depression, anxiety. Those happen because 90% of your serotonin is in your gut, and the bad bacteria is winning and giving you the bad attitude. You're getting their attitude, your anxiety, your depression, okay? Your mood swings. That's from your gut. Feed them fiber. Feed the good guys fiber. Help yourself. You don't need pills and medication. You need to change the order of food and the food that you're eating. That's going to help you to burn fat and not become Mr. Belly so big. So if you want to know more about the protocol that I use, just let me know. Say, put me in the chat and I'll get you the information. I can send you a quick video on it, send you the science. But it's a patented product, easy to do, easy to follow. I'll be back on Wednesday. Thanks for coming in today. I really appreciate it. Have a blessed day. I'll talk to you later. I'll let you know how the chili comes out. I'll show it to you on Wednesday too.